slumpy, man. Hey juicers, welcome back to Harley Throttle Juice, and today we're going to find out how this beastly Street Glide Special went from a 114 to a 124. Okay, so as I said, Street Glide Special, a 114 through to a 124. Sandro from Central Coast Harley Davidson.
Hey guys, how are you?
You can step forward into the light, sir. I'm like a tailor, aren't I? I'm going to fit you for a new suit. Sandro from Harley Davidson is going to walk us through his 2019 Street Glide Special and the various upgrades that he's done to it, because it's a beastly thing and really Lemmy just pales in comparison compared to this thing. So, mate, how did this thing start out? Like, when did you buy? Was it new? What was on it?
So I bought this as a ex-demo. It already had the Harley chisel bars on it and the LED headlight. Other than that, it was stock. I picked it up with maybe, I don't know, like 40 Ks on it.
Wow.
But they're practically brand new. And I bought that maybe August 2019.
Right.
So it's been nearly 3.5 years since.
Yeah.
And I'm now hanging out at 63,400 Ks. So I use the bike a lot, and that's actually that motivates a lot of my upgrades, you know.
So completely stock?
When I bought it, yeah. Yeah, totally stock. Like not even mufflers, air cleaner, nothing.
Wow.
Actually rode it out. So I think I was 2 months before I even bought performance mod. And even then, I only put screaming eagle mufflers on. Didn't even touch the air cleaner until then. I actually deliberately, step-by-step processed myself to give myself the experience.
Well, that's where I'm going next.
Step by step.
So you're a young fella. You're not a middle-aged gentleman like me. That's semi-conservative. So you have a mechanical aptitude and a mechanical mind and mechanical demands. So I was going to say to you now, at what point did you think this can't stay stock much longer?
Before this bike, I had a 2018 Street Bob, and I actually was buying parts already. I was accumulating parts, and you know, I bought lifters already. I bought a set of push rods, and little by little, I was already building parts to make a kit. And I knew from the get-go that I don't know. I like going off menu, and I like discovering things myself, even though it's the hard way.
Yeah.
And I just like talking to people, getting expertise from different areas, and then I try and I wanted to combine something that worked. And this is actually the second crack at engine combination. The first one was good, but just not quite right. But where we are at now is the Goldilocks.
The Goldilocks.
Not too hot, not too cold. Just right.
Goldilocks. Never heard that before.
Yeah, it's the Goldilocks build.
So, did you have, and ironically, if you haven't seen our How to Dyno a Harley Davidson or a bike in general episode, go and check that out. But just, it's ironic that we're talking like this, because when you arrived at that point, or even long before you got to Goldilocks stage, how did you work it out? Did you have a number in mind? Was it more performance tune based, rideability based, or how did you go about deciding what you wanted to do to the bike?
I never approached it with the idea that I wanted a 160 horsepower bike.
Good.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I just knew that, I mean, the bike rode perfectly adequate standard, but I knew I wanted more.
Yeah.
And I have the luxury of riding, you know, bikes that are traded in or secondhand bikes that have stage 4s and 2s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I had the luxury of being able to say, okay, I've ridden a stage 4, I like it, but it's not me. Stage 2, I like it, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
So then I sort of worked out that what I actually wanted was something that you'd say stage 3.5.
Right.
You know,
Right, yeah, okay.
if I had to use the Harley stage jargon,
Yeah.
this is a 3.5.
Right. So so when you were making that decision, so obviously it's based on rideability. So how you
Yeah,
ride, where
correct.
you ride,
Correct.
what sort of performance you want out of it.
Yes.
So how do you typically ride?
So by habit, I am a little bit of a cruiser, but I want the power when I want it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't want to work the bike to get it. I don't want to, if there's a truck I want to overtake, if there's somebody on the road I want to overtake, if I just want to show off next to my mates, and I just decide to do that whenever I want, I want it there.
Yeah.
But because I use the bike so often, and where I take the bike varies from city riding to riding out here, I need a bike that could do both. And if I chose too hot a setup, it'd be fantastic for over here.
For here.
Absolutely horrible out in the city. If it's too mild setup, then it'll be great in the city. But then not as good here. So I really spent the time and asked and got the help that I needed to put this motor together the way it is now. And when we ride it later, I think you'll really appreciate.
I want to give you'll
be like, give me one of those. I really set it up really well.
Doesn't have an anniversary colour on it though. But anyway, we'll get to that later. No, we won't. So all right, so you didn't necessarily have numbers in mind, but you wanted you knew how you wanted it to feel and how to perform, given how you ride and where you generally ride. So from that, did you develop a list of must-haves? And then start breaking it down and attacking it, or how did you go?
Yeah,
how did you go about that?
I did because I had to. To upgrade the engine, you got to upgrade components. But I knew that I wanted it to be reliable. I wanted it to be rideable, and I wanted it to be relatively pain-free. Right. Because if I need to replace anything or whatever. I can get the part. So so everything that this bike has is stuff that is readily available. There's nothing exotic or whatever. It's literally everything off the shelf. There's nothing custom. And I used, as much genuine Harley components as possible.
Okay. So how did you go about breaking that down? Like, did you have was it all done at once, or did you do it?
It was all done at once.
It was all done at once. Okay. All right. So talk about the key components, the must-haves, and how you decided which. You said that none of it's custom. So just walk the viewers through. What are some of the key components that you need to put on bikes like these to start getting that performance?
Yeah,
numbers?
definitely. So. I've got CP Carrillo 124 pistons. This actually runs stage 2 SNS 475 cam.
That's 475, yep.
Which is a bit on the smaller side, but it does make sense because of the torque applications and the usability. The cam is in charge of all of that.
So not a mild cam necessarily, but not a power cam.
But not essentially, but it's not so big that it's boisterous and super top endy. It's just a very broad power range. So just the usual suspects: air filter. It's got a super trap, unfiltered header pipe. I run because I'm on the road all the time. I actually use Screaming Eagle mufflers. Because they sound good, but they're not loud. So on the freeway, this bike is sublime.
So is that for you more to preserve your ears, or you're trying to cozy up to the EPA and not get into trouble?
A bit of both. And when you're riding, and especially for an extended period of time, and your exhaust is too loud, you're deaf.
Never thought I'd heard of. What are you, 30, 31 years of age? I've never heard. He's 30.
29 at this point.
29 still. I never thought I'd hear a 29-year-old bagger rider say that sometimes it gets too noisy. That's good. Okay.
But I'm a big believer in supporting mods. So on top of the main components, I've got an upgraded oil cooler fan. Oh, I put in an oil cooler that has a fan.
Right.
That's a Screaming Eagle product.
Yep, yep.
I run all my crankcase venting to atmosphere, just so that it doesn't spit all the oil mist back into the intake.
Yeah, right.
The combustion's is cleaner.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All that. Sorry, baby turtles and sea lions.
The cameraman here is just going to be really annoyed with you saying that because she likes to look after the turtles out on the two-lane roads.
What else do we do? Of course, I'm using S&S. High capacity lifters, Screaming Eagle push rods, all the usual mods, all the Harley gaskets. It's got a Screaming Eagle alloy manifold, but the throttle body is still the original one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You may or may not notice that these heads and barrels are actually off a CVO.
Wow, okay, yeah, I'm looking over at Rochelle's right now, I can see that. Yeah.
And I had the heads ported by one of our friends and customers, 72 Engineering.
Yeah.
So Scotty took my heads and he just spent a little bit of time with them and polished the ports, intake and exhaust, freed them up for a little bit more room.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But other than that, it's still the standard valve sizes, it's still the standard gaskets that are in there.
So what was the reason, just explain to the viewers, what was the reason to go to the CVO heads in the first place?
Oh, there was a set for sale, so I bought them. And I was like, oh, let's make it a little bit more different, like instead of just using plain texture black.
And difference in performance?
No.
No.
There actually, like realistically, there isn't. So in a 117 CVO, it's just a more, it's a bigger cam than what a standard 114 would have.
Yeah.
But mechanically, at least from what I understand, using the parts fiches and measuring whatever, it's the same piston size, the same comp, it's the same head.
Okay.
Same valves.
And what is Screaming Eagle slip-ons you said?
117 part, of course.
Which Screaming Eagle slip-ons are they?
Yep, Screaming Eagle slip-ons, Defiance end caps. My left one's all fadey, but I'll respray them later.
The time for a tool pack, mate.
Yeah, I run a seat off an ST.
I saw that. Why?
The riding position is fantastic. Wow. I like sitting over the center of the bike a little bit to put a little bit more weight on the front wheel.
I'm going to alert Harley Davidson and the media and tell them that we've found one rider that enjoys the ST seat.
It's great. The riding position is fantastic.
Yeah.
It pushes you forward. It puts my weight over the wheel.
Yeah.
I don't know. We might see footage of us riding later, and you'll probably notice me. I'm leaned quite forward, and my elbows are quite bent.
Yeah.
I don't know where that's from. I think that's just from super motard riding and a little bit of sport bike riding I've done in the past, and that's just what's stopped. So that's probably where it came from.
So about what time? When was all this work completed?
22 June or July.
Yep. Yep.
And I've been shaking it down for quite some time.
Yeah.
But now it's beautiful. I have the confidence to take it anywhere. So
did you have that tune before shaking it down, or did you wait for all of that to happen?
I had it built. The boys at Central Coast Harley built it. It was tuned by Brad, our service manager, as well.
Yeah.
They did a really good job. I have a lot of faith in the quality of our builds and the advice that I took, and we all help each other get it. So I just said, I'll run it in like 500 Ks, and then we'll start taking it on the dyno.
Yeah.
And after that, it was a different bike twice.
Yeah.
And it was great. I've been talking about all this. I didn't even mention any numbers, but this bike is 139 139 foot-pounds at 3,000 RPM.
Yes, well, yeah.
127 horsepower.
And that's accurate horsepower.
Yeah, at about 3,500, 4,000, something like that.
Yep.
Very, very torquey build.
So, given what Kev was saying about, and what you know, of course, as well, about rideability and the bike being tuned properly, so it's actually even quicker than what you would generally think. So when you're riding it around, as soon as the work was done, you really felt the difference, right?
It was absolutely massive,
Yeah.
and it's not just in the seat of the pants feel, but it's also like, even when I'm just riding in traffic, you know, and as motorcyclists, I naturally filter to the front. And the light goes green, I just take off the bike. Like, I haven't really learned any new riding habits in between handing the bike in and taking it out.
Yeah.
And I just accelerated as normal.
Yeah.
It took like 1 second later, like, all the traffic is miles and miles behind me, more than before.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And the way that this setup delivers the power is so stock feeling. You genuinely, it feels like a stock bike.
Yeah.
You've just got double the power.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Well, it's certainly a beast, mate. And what are the plans? Any more work required to it, or you said earlier on you've reached Goldilocks stage. So is this? But you're only 29. You got a lot of purchases left in you, mate.
I think mechanically we're okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think maybe like a brake upgrade could be in order, but
Yeah.
it'll just be as simple as upgrading pads. We're still running standard discs and pads, but they're more than enough.
Yeah.
Of course, with Harleys, you just have to, if you want to brake hard, you just have to squeeze hard. Like, that's just how it is, you know?
Yeah.
My suspension's already upgraded. I mean, really, any more upgrades from here on out will probably be aesthetic. But even then, all I really have left to do is the front turn signals, and
That's next on the agenda.
and then put the black lens version of this,
Yep.
and that's pretty much it, you know.
So suspension-wise, you're in the Wilbers family.
Yeah. So I put my Wilbers in circa 33,000 Ks.
Yep.
So I've already done
30, another 30.
Another 30,000 on this.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome
Yeah. Can't fold it.
suspension set.
Can't fold it. Well, mate, what do you reckon? We should take it for a rip
We definitely can, man. You can,
on a double demerits weekend.
yeah. Just don't get caught.
That's lumpy, man. Okay, it's debrief time. Are we swapping bikes, Sandro?
No, you can keep yours.
I was going to say that anyway. I can't handle the power of yours. I was just saying now, right? You got to get used to it. I've been conservative because it's not my bike, but like normally I give mine a little bit, and I know the feel of it, and I know how responsive it is, and I can just cruise into a driveway or into another street. With yours, I've gone whoa, and I go, oh shit, I'm already there. So very responsive.
The clutch bite is quite aggressive, but yeah, like because it's tuned to be sort of very responsive, and you know, the throttle to time and the engine just responds. Like when you blip the throttle, how quickly does that rev counter just you know?
Mate. Oh, absolutely.
It's like it's not a 2000, a 1900, whatever cc V-twin. No, it revs like I don't know, like a little 1100.
The analogy I would use, it's like a 57-year-old trying to run. And I've got to run 100 metres, and then a 29-year-old, exactly half my age, basically, going to run. When a 29-year-old, most 29-year-olds, they start running, they're off. They're springing off. If I'm starting to do it, I'm going to build into this.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm waiting here. Sing for me, sweet lullaby.